I got a question for you. Have you guys ever heard of the Trijicon VCOG 1 to 6 or the 1 to 8 times? These heavy overpriced things, not even that customizable. Definitely not worth the money, right? That's where you'd be wrong. So today I'm going to go over the cons people have about the VCOGs, and I'm going to tell you what I personally like about the VCOGs. So the first thing I'm going to lead into is the weight of this thing. Everybody I've ever seen talk about the VCOG says it is really heavy, and I just don't understand it because it is a scope with a mount already integrated into it. And so I have this Vortex Razor Gen 2 as is, customized. It's got the mount, it's got the RMR, it's got the throw lever, and the VCOG, it's got a different base mount, a Geisley mount. It's got a RMR mount with the RMR, and then it's got the throw lever and the 100 concept scope caps. So I got these two LPVOs to compare in weight because everybody says that the VCOG is super heavy, and that's one reason why they don't want to buy it. This is the 1 to 8. This is the 1 to 6. They both have RMRs. They both have different mounts. They both have throw levers. The only thing that the Razor doesn't have that the VCOG does have is the AA battery and the scope caps. They might not make that big of a difference, but we're going to compare the weight. I'll start off with, like I said, the Gen 2 Razor. I'm going to get this scale and zero it out, and I'm going to put this on here. So this scope as is, weighing on the scale, says 31.78 ounces. And then to move over to the VCOG, customized as is, it says 35.56 ounces. Again, I'm going to put a picture up on the screen to show you guys what the scale is showing me. And I mean, 4 ounces difference, and both of these have, you know, all these customized options on them. That's not that big of a difference. If 4 ounces makes a difference to you, go hit the gym. And with that being said, with all these things I have on both of these scopes, that leads into my customization. You see with the Vortex Razor, I have the mount I want, I have a top mount RMR, and I have a throw lever. And then with the VCOG, I can change the bottom mount where it connects to the gun, and I can have a top mount RMR thanks to software development, or if you want to offset, Unity solves that problem as well. And then of course 100 concepts for the scope caps. I mean, I would think the VCOG is just as customizable as any other LPVO, and you might not have the fancy, you know, the full mounts, different mounts you can choose from, but these have different bases you can choose from. Which leads into my next thing. I really like that this is a one-piece integrated mount. When I have to set scopes, I have to, if I want it perfect, I have to set the plumb bobs, or if you want to call them the balls on a string, make sure the scope's level, the crosshairs are sighting up with that, and I can screw everything down and make sure everything's level. With this, I don't. That takes a bunch of the frustration out of making sure your scope's level and everything. It's one piece from the factory, and to me that is a huge pro, to me, you know, honestly. But let's circle back around to the price. So the pricing that I am seeing on EuroOptic as of this moment for the Trijicon VCOG is $1,960, and that is right there getting close with the Nightforce NX8 1 to 8 times, which is $1,750, and then you got to buy a mount, so they're basically kind of close in the same range, depending on what mount you buy. Again, the VCOG comes with the integrated mount, so once you buy the VCOG, it's good to go. Attach it straight to your gun, sight it in, and get going. Okay, so this next point, you can kind of take it as a pro and a con. The VCOG takes AA batteries, so you can find AA batteries anywhere. And then for your guys that think of the end of days scenario or the government collapse scenario, you'll be able to find AA batteries just about everywhere. And then like your regular LPVOs, they take the CR2032. So another pro with the VCOG is it is supposed to be a LPVO version of the ACOG. It's supposed to be super tough, hence the one-piece design. And I know the whole controversy with T-Rex arms. When Lucas was still there, they did a video on the VCOGs, dropping them, throwing them off the trucks and all that crap, dropping them from crazy heights. And I think the only thing that ever happened was the 1-8 VCOG lost the illumination, but was still running strong. And I think that's pretty good for LPVO. And with the durability, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to go with the VCOG, because I like to buy something that I know that's going to last and it's something that's going to hold up. And if you're willing to spend some coin on a VCOG, I think it's a good option. I mean, if you want something that's advertised to be durable in a real world scenarios where it would take some abuse. And another thing, with it being Trijicon, they have a phenomenal warranty. Even if you were to somehow break this thing, their customer service is phenomenal. That's like, I broke this RMR trying to get a screw that stripped out of it, and the drill bit broke, went down to the glass, messed the glass all up, and I was able to contact customer service, get my optics sent in, and get it back within a timely manner, you know, for the RMR at least. It was a 2-week, I know for the scope it would probably be longer, but their customer service was phenomenal. Not saying Vortex can't be phenomenal, but choose a company that's got great customer service just in case anything were to happen. And I kind of want to loop back to customization, because you know, a lot of scopes you can either have it at the, I think it's 1.5 or 1.54 height mount, or take it up to 1.7 or the 226 whatever height over bore. This one you can leave it at the factory height mount, which is I would assume at the 1.5, 1.54. Onward Research is making a different mount for this VCOG that puts it at a 1.7 height over bore to kind of clear if you were to have like a laser device. And then of course Unity makes the COG mount that puts it at like a 2.05 height over bore if you wanted that. So another thing I wanted to add, some people have their preferences, but when I first started into VCOGs, I had the 1-6, and I loved it at first, but then when I tried to actually zero the reticle and get precise hits on it was like a 2-inch by 2-inch square, the entire crosshair reticle covered the that 2-inch square, and I couldn't see it. So I hated that reticle, and then I sold it, and then put that money towards a 1-8, and so far I love this reticle. With that being said, if you were thinking that I was going to spend this entire time dogging the VCOG, you were sadly mistaken, because I love this optic. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's bomb proof. Hopefully it lives up to its advertised durability, but in reality everybody has their preferences. But y'all, with that being said, let me know what you think in the comments. Leave me a like, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.